is the Burdick Lexus and Burdick BMW postgame show.
All right. Well, Chance Westry exists. Yeah. Welcome in to our post-game coverage today. Brian Higgins with you. That just happened. Sadly, not unexpected, really, anything we just saw. Syracuse getting pounded by Tennessee 96-70 as the Orange pick up their third loss of the season. Playing without J.J. Starling. Looked like they were playing without J.J. Starling. Defense looked like it, has looked like for a while this season. And, that all just happened. That all just happened. Not a lot of good things out there today besides the performance of Chapelmore, who, while he did not start today, he did play 30 minutes, score 24 points, back-to-back career highs for Chapa, going 19 against Cornell, 24 against Tennessee on the road. I mean, Tennessee is a legitimately good team. They're really good. They're going to be in the mix this year, top 10 type of team. But we just saw the gap. We saw the gap between what it is to be like a legit team in college basketball this year and where Syracuse is at. That was, I get they didn't have their best player, but that was an epic beatdown. That was an epic beatdown. We'll be here over the course of the next hour or so. Phone lines will be open, 315-437-7644. You just call, unburden yourself. Unburden, call. We got you on CuseSportsTalk.com. We got the chat up on the Twitch. We're dialing the chat up here on the YouTube to make sure we're gonna watch all of it. We're gonna take care of all of you tonight. But not a good one. And I'd say honestly the biggest disappointment of being it not good is that none of us are surprised by what happened tonight. That was. I predicted earlier, what did I have? I had 82-55, so I was slightly low on both numbers, but that's 27 points. It ended up being 26. It was not a surprising result. Tennessee was on pace for 96 points 10 minutes into the game, and they just kept on that pace for the remainder of the game. The Orange did not get stops at all. They scored 70, but they don't have offensive firepower to keep. I mean, 96 is a lot of points. I get it. Tennessee's really good. This is maybe the hardest game on the schedule all year. But man, dispiriting loss for the Orange tonight. All right, as mentioned, 315-437-7644 for ESPN 44. Let's kick it off tonight with our guy Pat. What's up, Pat?
That was fun.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
Just a blast, Pat. I had a fantastic time.
I mean, in the first half, I was thinking, if they can play this way in the second half, I thought they were going to lose by 15, and I was happy with that. So that's not good. I mean, that in and of itself, that you can literally lose by 15 and be happy with it. But, I mean, look, let's first talk about Starling. So the positive for Coach is that he's going to get a little bit of a pass because JJ, just like the year when basketball was shut down because of COVID, and Boeheim got a pass for that lousy team, and his narrative was for the next 3 years was if they had won one more game, they were getting in, which was a complete that just wasn't the case. But the point is, I mean, everybody knows that we're on the outside looking in. We're one of the worst Power 5 nets of any team, and tonight's not going to help. Now, the ACC is one of the worst ACCs I've ever seen. I mean, it's bad.
I think the stat I saw just now, Pat, on Twitter is that
it was 2-14.
Yeah, the ACC against the SEC this year is now 1-17.
Yeah,
1-17.
And I think they're 2-14 against. I don't know, something about maybe
top 10 or something. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, no, top 25 teams.
Wow, it's not good. Yeah, there's no good numbers out there for the ACC right now.
Yeah, and I think Louisville, weren't they saying on the telecast that Louisville's player, that one guy got tore his ACL or something in the championship of some game? I don't even know. So one of the Bahamas.
Did he? I zoned out on that if they did, but yeah. It all stands.
But the biggest focus for Syracuse is, Autry's going to have some time to play some guys. I mean, look, I don't like coaches that, like, he is putting Carlos on a longer leash than Cuff. And what has Carlos done to earn that? I'm not saying Cuff is even good, but I know Cuff's background and I know Carlos's background. So to me, they're one and the same. They were both, Cuff was a more highly touted recruit, and that's why he went to Kansas.
Right.
And Carlos went where he went. So, I mean, to me, the whole thing's a mess. I don't understand why we go with one lineup in the zone when that should be your man lineup, and then another lineup with the man when that should be your zone lineup. Like, Donnie Freeman's better in the zone. It's obvious. He gets smoked every time he's trying to guard the ball. Chris Bell is better in his zone lineup. I mean, these are basic coaching moves. I mean, this is just look at the player and is he better in man or zone? You can go down the list and coach either don't and playing McLeod. Like, I mean, who needed that?
Yeah, Naheem did not bring a lot tonight. That was
he hasn't brought a lot since he walked on campus.
I mean, what was the play in the first half? The guy like muscled into him and knocked him back like 5 feet and just scored at the rim. I'm like, and it's like, nah, he didn't score over him. He just removed him from the equation and put it in the bucket.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you put Carlos on any team in the Power Five and surround him with, just average players, that team goes down. I mean, Carlos he's not good, and I think Autry's going to die on that hill. I mean, he's not good. I mean, his defense is really bad. I don't know how he was a defensive first team all conference in any conference, because he's just not good.
It's perplexing.
And what's even worse is his playmaking. I mean, I put a joke on social media that Howard Washington is a better player, and Howard Washington was never a good player ever, but he could get 5 or 6 assists in 10 minutes. I mean, he did it like 5 times.
Right.
I mean, he would come in and have 5 assists. Now, Carlos could play 5 games and not do that. I mean, he doesn't do anything. I mean, I would rather see no point guard than him. I'd rather see no guards and just have big zone than Carlos is bad. And I just don't know, like, why Syracuse fans are gonna, even support it. Like, I can't support a coach that is not going to, set a standard. And that standard is you are either going to play to a level that is acceptable for what we're trying to build, or you're going to sit. Because he's got enough scholarship guys. It's not like we got 2 or 3 guys out with injury. I mean, Westry's back. He can be getting 5 to 10 minutes every game from here on in. I mean, it's not like he's coming back from a broken leg.
Right.
His injury was what? An illness this year, and last year was his lower leg, which we still don't know what that was, but it's none of our business. So I'm not even going to go down that road. But Brian, here's my question to you: talent now with JJ out. I mean, how many teams in the ACC have more talent than Syracuse?
I mean, a lot of them. I mean, I don't know everybody's roster inside out yet, but yeah, I mean, JJ was their best guy. Obviously, like I like Chapa. He's good. Donnie's got his moments. His defense is yeah. But yeah, you look at the rest of the roster right now, and there's not just pure jumps off the page at you basketball talent. Yeah, there's not a lot there right now. I know you mentioned Cuff, Pat. From my understanding, I don't know. I guess they don't think he's a point guard. That's my only reason I'm saying
he's not.
He's not. That's the reason he's not playing instead of Carlos. And again, it comes back to Chance Westry. When they put Chance in the game, he does exist. We saw him there for 2 minutes. It was at point. So, all right, now with JJ out, literally the only hope on the roster for somebody else to play point guard right now is Westry until JJ gets back. Because realistically, my hope was we were going to see more of JJ and Chapa, which I think could have worked, and now that's gone.
The last thing is Bell does not get a pass. Okay, you're a junior.
No, he's not playing well.
it's not even not playing well. He doesn't even sense the ball. Like, there was 3 or 4 rebounds that he should have had, and he just forgot that you actually have to rebound. I mean, it's so bad after 3 years. Like, I'm done with Bell. Like, to me, Bell, he teases you because he can hit 7 threes in a game, but how often does he do that, especially this year? So to me, this team is a total mess, and it falls on Red. And if he thinks the pressure's bad this year, I mean, go back to his last press conference, or one of his first press, where he bragged about how many rebounds we got. You just stop. Okay, just take the ownership. Tell us what you're going to do to fix it. Try new things, because this ain't working, and I'd rather see other things fail and at least know that you're trying something else. But Carlos, I've never seen so many people all agree on one thing, and that's that Carlos stinks. Thanks, Brian.
All right, thank you, Pat. And I mean, not to put it all on one guy, and it's the position he landed in tonight. But Jaquan played the first 38 minutes of the game, and he unfortunately he's not played well, and his size has been an issue, though in Tennessee had a similarly sized guard tonight, though. He's, that Ziegler fellow's he's pretty good at the basketball, huh? You'd like to think at some point they would have noticed he was throwing the lob. The lob! He's pretty good. I like that Ziegler. But, man, Carlos is struggling, and now you're stuck, because I think you were like, you had a chance to phase him out a little bit and maybe work him into a way that could at least utilize something. But all of the plans in my head, anyway, of how to do that involve JJ. And they said his hand's going to be reevaluated tomorrow or something when he gets back. If it is actually a broken hand, he's gone 6 weeks. I mean, realistically, that's what it is, and that's plus minus whatever. But that's a month, 6 weeks. I mean, you're middle of the ACC season. You might be beyond the point of no return for the season, and then what do you do? So, I mean, there's a lot of questions here going on. All right, let's get our next caller here. Again, phone lines open, 315-437-7644. Next up, we got Chris in the Cuse. Hey, Chris.
How's it going? I like to see one of these games if Audrey will blame accountability, kind of like Fran Brown. Good coach, can't teach fundamentals, basketball, ball watching. The only bright spot I could say is Kappa Moore playing well. He should be playing more minutes. Bench Carlos. Chris Bell is kind of another one, possibly a chance Western can get playing some minutes. Hopefully he could get in the game shape, I guess. But anyways, I don't know. Next year, Archer will get fired. You can say the talent coming in, it's the same transfer portal. The same players, those players leaving next season, those ones coming right now. The only difference is Sadiq White, defender, and Anthony, one player that can score. I don't see this team that gets him for quite a few years until Autry gets fired. I'm sorry. Autry is not a coach. He may be play well at SU. Just because you can play at SU doesn't mean you're a good coach. And the reason why they'll go outside university, because they're afraid of the zone. They're afraid they're all going to take their tactics, how to approach the zone, and that's why they want to get a real coach outside. Same how SU football has done with Fran Brown outside university. They've done better with more than 1 year than what Archer would do in 3 years in basketball.
All right, Chris. Yeah, thank you for the call. And, I like Red. We know him personally. I really like Red. He's a great guy.
He's a great guy, but it's the business.
You're replacing a legend in Jim Boeheim. It is damn near an impossible spot, and it's not. This year's not started great. Like last year was first year transition. Like it was, not the tournament, but okay. You saw some things. This year, the talent assembled this year is not good enough. If you're Red, we're thinking big picture. Sadiq White, Kai and Anthony. All right, if you can assemble more like that, okay. Like those are legit basketball players that you win these games with. So I don't know. The question here is that I feel bad for Red because you're like realistically anybody in this spot ends up in these situations. Like it was the hardest thing. You don't want to be the first guy after the legend is what they normally say. Now you look in Chapel Hill and Durham right now. And things are going decently well in both of those spots, at least at the moment, in post K and post Roy Williams. But look at Villanova. It ain't going well post Jay Wright. It's hard. It's hard. And the spotlight's on you at Syracuse. We care a lot about this. It's hard. And obviously it had slid at the end with Boeheim. So it all combines to it's a hard spot. And I don't know. Like there's not a great answer here, but it is hard to look at this season right now, 7 games in. JJ, I am speculating here, but what I know based on if it is a broken hand, we're talking, 4 weeks is being generous, but probably 6 to 8 weeks. You watch the game tonight. I get it. Like in the next 6 to 8 weeks, they may not play a team as good as the team they played tonight, but they lost by 26. So, yeah, if you're going to do that and then you don't have him, what are you going to do? Like how are you going to win these games? I don't know. Saturday now at Notre Dame. All right, like. Can you go win that game? Can you be competitive in that game? Can it look right? Can you turn it around by the end of the week so that this can just be a, my goodness, Tennessee's good. Hopefully. Back to the phones. Steve in North Syracuse is next. Hey, Steve.
Well, firstly, we finally got our answer. Chance Westry played before Zede Haynes.
Yes, you've been on the watch out for that for a while. I think I got that right, Steve. So I'll take that.
Yeah. I got to give the team some credit. I mean, they lose their star scorer, and they play the team ranked number 1 in the net rankings on the road. And they hung in there for a long time. They wound up scoring 70 points, which I believe is the most Tennessee's given up this season. Mm-hmm. And it's 15 points above their average. Of course, the fact that it was a blowout may have contributed to that. But still, it was a more competitive game than I frankly thought it would be. Coach Autry, in his post-game comments, both this game and recent games, seems to be about as angry at his players as the most critical posters on SyracuseFan.com or in Syracuse Sports Talk. There, he doesn't specify certain players because he wants to protect them. But when he talks about the team, he just seems very, very upset about it, and I'm wondering if he's coming to the same conclusion that the fans are, that this team has just not been put together very well, and that these are the wrong set of players to take us where we want to go. We've got 2 outstanding freshmen in Elijah Moore and Donnie Freeman. Freeman is absolutely raw. There was a great comment during the game that he, instead of going up strong, drawing a foul and dunking it in, he tried to finesse a shot and attempted a harder shot that didn't go in, and he didn't get any foul call out of it. Those are things that he's got to learn. People were talking about him as a one and done. I think he's very far from that right now, but he's a very talented guy, and I love what I see from Chopper Moore. Lampkin can contribute, obviously. And I love Jared Davis's game. So there's some players to admire on this team. And if Westry can somehow make his presence felt, I think ultimately he might take over for Carlos at that position. But it just intrigues me that the coach seems to be as mad at the team as the most critical fans are.
Yeah, and Steve, I think I found it more interesting, too, that like his 2 most angry press conferences were after wins, right? Like he came into Cornell. I forget which of the first 3 games it was. He came in like that, but it wasn't the 2 losses in New York. And realistically, for a guy that's trying to preach defense, right? Those 2 games in New York were the best 2 defensive games they played all season, which I'd imagine goes into it.
There was one sequence late in the second half where the game was already out of hand, but he called a timeout and sent the team back onto the court. And Syracuse executed the offense excellently, and the ball wound up with I think it was some more attempting a 3-pointer from straight out. It didn't go in, but Matt Park said said, well, at least they ran that play exactly the way the coach wanted to, and he pointed out that Autry seemed to be very enthusiastic about that, even though the ball didn't go in, and we were 25 points behind. So it's come to the point where the coach gets excited if his team can run a play the way he described it.
Yeah, small victories, I guess, Steve, right?
Yeah, but small victories don't lead to big ones necessarily.
Not tonight. That is for darn sure. Yeah, it's been an adventure, Steve. Not the most fun adventure. I'll be intrigued to see what Red has to say tonight because, man, you get skunked like that on the road. You can't be feeling very good right now.
Yeah.
All right,
okay, thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Steve at North Syracuse. All right, let's take a break now. Phone lines open when we come back. 315-437-7644. Off and running here on our Burdick Lexus and Burdick BMW postgame coverage. Final score tonight, Tennessee 96. Syracuse 70 was a game-ish for the first half, and not at all in the second half. Much more to come after this here on Cuse Sports Talk at ESPN Radio. I knocked so many beverages over while Steve was talking. I'm using this Cuse Colgate sheet to wipe it up. Oh, man. Yeah, Steve flustered me. I don't know what I did. I smacked something and everything went to hell, Ryan. That's why you close the top on your drinks. Yeah, somebody like LeFew would have been useful right about now. What's up with the YouTube? Let's check out the YouTube. I'm not looking at the YouTube chat. We're filling up in the YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Yeah, you don't want to spill beers, Waka Waka. That would be a party foul. Yeah, LeMayo is gone. Is that French for the mayo is gone? That is a big problem. That is a legitimate problem. Come on, get money. Red's not lazy. But yeah, LeMayo's point is that's the worst thing here. Like, you don't sniff 30,000, you barely sniff 20,000 when you're playing like this. Like, the Dome, you put 15,000 in the Dome and it looks like a ghost town. That's a big crowd most places. Relax, APH. Oh, you're in the wrong place for relax. Yeah, like, the Cayenne thing's exciting. Sadiq White, Donnie Freeman, Chapel Moore, that's all great. But, yeah, the portal was a whiff this year. Now, is that because of bad recruiting? Is that because of not enough NIL? Like, why? I don't know. Football signing days tomorrow, Dinky's Pond. You hold on lacrosse. Texas A&M, Zach. They're all asleep, SU Talk. My house is asleep. Yeah, football school. Yeah, I have no idea what the total pot was, how it was distributed, stuff like that. I mean, God, recruiting is confusing these days with all that stuff.
Game show.
All right, rolling along here on this. What day is it? Tuesday? Tuesday, December the 3rd, 2024. Phone lines open 315-437-7644. Just let it out, people. Let it out. Syracuse gets just smoked tonight on the road at Tennessee in, honestly, a not surprising result. 96-70 is the final score here. Chopamore was great. 30 minutes off the bench, 24 points. He's been great 2 straight games, 19 and 24. I would move him into the starting lineup. Start, not start, whatever. But he's got to play. What really stinks here is you could see his game building here over the course. Freshman getting into it, getting the sense, building. I really think that JJ and Chapa would have been a pretty good backcourt. I was all in on a JJ Chapa backcourt. Yeah, I was all in on a JJ Chapa backcourt, and yeah, JJ's out for. We don't know how long. Apparently. The story is he got hurt in practice apparently yesterday or recently, left hand injury. Matt Park tweeted earlier today it's broken. He's going to get it reevaluated tomorrow. From my I have broken my hand before experience, looking at the wrap he has on the bench, it looks like they wrapped my hand in like the first time you visited the doctor before you went back, and they gave you a more permanent solution. So early days for him, and then I had like a soft cast thing on that kept the broken bones on my hand like immobile. Like you could take it off for a shower and whatnot, but you wore it basically all the time for 6 weeks. Now that was me. I don't know what's going on with JJ's bones, but if he's out for 6 weeks or more. Like, we're getting perilously close to February. Like, we are more than halfway done with conference play. Like, oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, the Super Cat wants to know how it affected my jumper. Well, see, the difference here, Super Cat, is I broke my dominant hand, my right hand. JJ broke his non-shooting hand, so maybe he'd have better luck. Yeah, my handle went to crap, Super Cat. It was just, it was no good. We got the chat going on Cuse Sports Talk. We got the chat going on the Cuse Sports Talk YouTube as well. So we're all over the place. We're all over the place here. Checking everybody out here. Getting your calls at 315-437-7644 here. We'll get you some a little red when it becomes available to us, I think. And then it's just look at the box score tonight. Chapa, great. 24 points, 8 of 12. Good. Very good. What else you got? It's hard to look at the box score tonight and definitively point at anybody else that you're like, yep, they played well. Like Donnie Freeman, 10 points, 4 boards. It's fine. His defense, though, Lucas Taylor started 0 points, 1 shot in 15 minutes. Chris Bell had 12, made 2 threes, 5 of 10 shooting, 5 boards, which for him is a lot, 31 minutes. But did he impact the game? Jaquan Carlos played the first 37 minutes of the game, 3 of 8 shooting, 7 points and 4 assists. Eddie Lampkin, Scored the first bucket of the game. I found that promising, but then only 4 more points after. 6 points in 23 minutes with 4 rebounds. Saw a little Kyle Cuff. Nice dunk at the end for his only 2 points. He played 4 minutes. Peter Majstorovic is a fouling machine, fouled out in 11 minutes. I saw a stat before his foul out that he has like 53 minutes played this year and 13 fouls, so now it's probably like 55 minutes played and 14 fouls. My goodness, I kind of like a lot of the things he potentially can do, but boy, howdy does he foul. Jair Davis, 9 points in 19 minutes. He did some stuff in the second half. The Big Duke struggled in his 5 minutes. Naheem McLeod. His only stat in 5 minutes was a foul. And Chance Westry does exist. We can confirm Chance Westry exists. He played the last 2.5, 3 minutes of the game. And I'd say, what can you take out of a guy being on the court for 3 minutes? Not a whole ton. But my main takeaway from what we saw from Chance tonight is the position he played. With J.J. out, with Jaquan Carlos playing the first 37 minutes of the game, when Chance played into the game, we've heard he can play the 1, the 2, the 3, the this, the that, the whatever. Never seen him play. He played point guard. He played point guard tonight. So, hopefully, we're going to be positive here for a second. Optimistically looking forward, if we can attempt that. Hopefully, Chance Westry can get more and more minutes at specifically, especially with Starling out, that position and do it effectively. He played 3 minutes. I don't know. You can't judge the basketball yourself from him in 3 minutes. There's nothing to judge other than he exists and he ran up and down the court and he, didn't keel over. But the position he played, the issues with Jaquan Carlos, that's something that's going to have to combine going up. Next game is on Saturday. Will he, he didn't play any important minutes tonight. He wasn't actually in the rotation. The game was so long over by the time he was on the court. Will he play, in the actual game on Saturday? I don't know. I think that'll be an interesting thing to watch out for going forward. All right, let's get a break in. Phone lines available, 315-437-7644 for ESPN 44. We're back after this here on Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Radio. He did have a good assist there. That's true. I tweeted about it. Yeah, Gavendo. I don't know if they had a minutes limit on him for tonight or whatever, but I would have put him in earlier. Yeah, what did free throws end up? 12 of 21. Yeah, this is a consistently shockingly bad free throw shooting team. You know it, Mike. With gifts. I'm very influential, Mike McAllister. Mike McAllister will be appearing on the 315 tomorrow to break down Syracuse football's recruiting class. Mike McAllister is a football recruiting influencer. That's what's perplexing, Mike. They were a lot of these guys that stink this year at the line, were good last year at the line. It doesn't make sense. It's free throw shooting. Yeah, how is Chris Bell 0 for 3 at the line? Yeah, they weren't winning this game with JJ, but man. We can talk about that, Mike. I will talk about Jameis Winston any day, anytime. Jameis amuses me to no end. The YouTube chat's hiring Devo. Okay. Yes, Mitch Match. That, in theory, was part of Engelstad's hiring. Mount St. Mary's good defensive numbers. Is that a fact? Get money? Is that more points? Did Chapa score more in the game than Carlos has all season? Oh man, did it, Ryan? Man, was last night the most Jameis Winston game of all time? God bless him. Yeah, Kev's asleep. Kev gets up at like 2 in the morning to go work for a living. What's on the Christmas list? It's, how would a bowl game on a day that I would prefer to be schedule-wise? How about that, APH? Yeah, what's under McAllister's tree? That's what stinks, Bogey Greg. It looks like in the first game or two that maybe Bell had started doing some other stuff, and it just really hasn't happened. Yeah, Mike and I are actually we're not going to talk recruiting tomorrow. We're just going to trade Pokemon cards. I'm going to get his Charizard. Huh? Is that a thing? Cuse fan, I can't imagine anything that Jim Boeheim would like to do less than come on and talk about Syracuse basketball after that game. Well, there's his voice on our airwaves, though.
Show.
All right, back at it here. Phone lines open and available to you here on this Tuesday evening, 315-437-7644. Weird how times have changed here, where tomorrow is football early signing day. Fran Brown. And that is what is going to put a smile on her face after today. If I had told you that a year ago, 2 years ago, you would have looked at me like I had 17 heads. But that's where we are right now. Fran Brown to the rescue. Fran Brown to the rescue. He will all be fine. Less than 24 hours, people. Less than 24 hours. Heck, I guess signing day technically starts at midnight. I don't know what time of that. McAllister, what time does it start? 7 a.m. When can you send your fax? Fire up the fax machine. I think it's like 7 in the morning or something. But yeah, we'll see. That'll help out a little bit tomorrow. We can cleanse the palate a little bit. I look at it like Tennessee's really good. What's the takeaway from tonight? Other than that Syracuse struggled and it wasn't very fun to watch. Tennessee's really good. Tennessee's going to be in the mix this year. Good for them. I really like their point guard. That Ziegler guy. He's fun. He's good. He's really good. And they got some talented bigs. That Lanier guy they got from North Florida can really shoot the ball and score it like that. They are a very good team. Saturday is Notre Dame. Notre Dame has, at last track, but yes, 7 a.m. for signings starting football tomorrow. Thank you, Mike. What was I saying? Notre Dame basketball. Notre Dame basketball. This is a game on Saturday in South Bend, conference game. You don't have former Irish player J.J. Starling. You won't be miraculously healed. Notre Dame lost. Was this today? Today, Notre Dame lost today at, go figure, Georgia. I wonder what Dakota LeFew did in this game. Notre Dame lost 69-48 at Georgia today. The Bulldogs are 8-1. Notre Dame is 4-5. Syracuse is at Notre Dame on Saturday. Saying must win on December 3rd feels aggressive. But I would feel a lot better about life and this season not falling completely off the rails if Syracuse can go win this game on Saturday. And I don't care if they win it by 1, I don't care if the score is 39-38. I mean, I will. That would be awful for all of us. I don't care. Like, go win the game. Notre Dame's not good. Notre Dame's had injuries. Notre Dame, their best player's out, right? What did Dakota Lefew do tonight? Dakota Lefew, 16 points off the bench. He's off the bench for Georgia tonight. So there you go on that. Notre Dame's struggling. So both teams, it'll be an ACC matchup of both teams with their best player out, I think. Quite a situation. And is it a must-win? I get it. No, there's no must-wins in December. They got to go win this game to you're 1-0 in the ACC to just get any traction on the season. Is it regardless going to be tough to make the tournament, all that? Yeah, none of that's changing anytime soon. But just to keep it engaged here going forward, like go out and win that game, and then maybe like you can at least steady the ship a little bit. And I'm not talking tournament or any of that. I'm just saying, like tonight you can see things careening off the cliff. Like today it went J.J. Starling's out indefinitely, which I'm guessing is going to be like a very long indefinitely if it truly is a broken hand after he gets reevaluated tomorrow. So what can you do to at least keep things on track here? Like, you got to win the Notre Dame game, and then you got Albany and Georgetown. Like, you got games that, man, if you lose these games, it's going to get really dark really early. But then we're just, like, staring at the football portal. We need some basketball that has a little meaning to it. We need something here coming up that has a little meeting to it. Who's hurt for Notre Dame? Marcus Burton, is that the name I'm thinking of? Is he the guy that's hurt? What's his deal? How hurt is he? How hurt is Notre Dame's best player compared to Syracuse? Knee out several weeks. That's from 6 days ago. A non-season-ending knee injury. All right. So Saturday, conference opening matchup, Notre Dame and Syracuse, both teams without their best player. Burton, who essentially replaced Starling last year in the lineup at Notre Dame. That's oddly fitting. On the road, ACC, Syracuse generally plays reasonably fine in South Bend. They often play there on this weekend. Go figure. So we'll see what can happen. We'll see what can happen. But man, you got to do something, because we were just talking about this in the chat during one of the breaks. Somebody brought it up earlier that what we're in danger of now, and this is not an on court. How do we fix this? How do we fix that? Right now, like, the casual Syracuse fan is drifting out on Syracuse basketball for this season. And, like, anybody listening to me now that's in on this post-game show, like, we all know we're all here for the long term this year. Like, we're going to ride it out, even if it's gruesome to look at. We'll be here by the end. We know that. But, like, you talk about putting 30,000 in that building, that takes the casual fan as well. And, like, if you lose to Notre Dame and Georgetown and some of these games coming out, like, the casual fan is gonzo for the rest of the year. So we'll see. We'll see what happens going forward. But just not a great look tonight. I get it. Tennessee's good. But this didn't used to happen, or it used to happen rarely enough that it really stood out. Tonight, they lost by 26. And about 5 hours and 15 minutes ago, when we did No Wrong Answers on my show today, I predicted they would lose by 27. So this was not, and that is not to pat my own back, though I will gladly do it. That is to say, this was not shocking at all tonight, what happened. And that, I think, is what is just you like, oh, man. Man, oh, man, oh, man. And yes, was my prediction due to the fact that JJ was out? Yes. If JJ had been in, would I have predicted them to win? No. I certainly would have predicted a closer game than what we saw. We certainly would have gotten a closer game than what we saw. But, man, losing your best player, never good. Clearly. We saw what happened to Syracuse when they lost their best player tonight. It was they did not have a lot of options, and even though Elijah Moore stepped up honestly and took those minutes and played great, it still was not remotely nearly enough to deal with what Syracuse had to deal with tonight. All right, let's take a break. Still enough time to get a call in when we come back at 315-437-7644. We'll hear from Red Autry before too long as well as we continue our Burdick postgame coverage after this tonight on Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Radio. Oh, man, it was rough tonight. It was rough. I like Choppa. Choppa's fun. Jordan is actively working hard at getting us Red Autry. Yeah, they said when they said that record during the game today or on Twitter or wherever I saw it, Pat, the ACC is 1-17 against the SEC. Like, that's not a perception issue. That's a you stink at basketball issue. You know, we got to shine it up a little, Mike, for the people. Yeah, Choppa played, like, for all the Choppa, like, I was first among the Choppa asked to play more. He played 30 minutes today. Like, he played more. That's a good question, Steve, and that's what's unfortunate is that, like, whoever scheduled this, I don't know if they still had in their mind that, I mean, like, in theory, like, Syracuse is a basketball draw, right? This is a TV situation. Dan, he will not tomorrow because he'll be driving back from the game, and Jordan is filling in tomorrow. Oh, fooled y'all. Fooled you. Mario and Jordan. Woohoo. I was very concerned, APH, but Jordan has given me a countdown to Autry. But the other side of the coin, APH, is it's Syracuse basketball. Like, regardless of what you logically expect, it's Syracuse basketball. We have Red's press conference. We have the presser. Where is Paulie going after the game tonight? Probably Probably, Zach, to sleep. I don't know if he's driving where tonight, but he will be driving much of the day tomorrow.
Sam Oswego. This is the Burdick Lexus and Burdick BMW postgame show.
That it is, back for our last few minutes with you, and during that time, we're now available to us from RomanoCars.com. Here is Red Autry after today's game.
We battled and fought. Obviously, the free throws were a big difference, I thought, for our team. We missed 7 in the first half. Thought that was the difference as far as trying to stay in the game in the second half. Obviously, the first half we did a pretty decent job on there. We knew he would get going at some point, but it comes back down to, I thought the second half we fell apart. We didn't get back. We didn't locate guys. Rebounds, a couple of live ball turnovers. Again, everything. The second half, it was nothing to be proud of, nothing to be pleased of. It was disappointing. I'm disappointed. Our guys are disappointed, and it's just, we can't continue to let one end of the floor impact the other end of the floor. That's kind of what we're dealing with right now. So we got to continue to work on that and get better at that. But by all means, this is unacceptable performance, and. We have to and we will do better. We just have to. There's no way around it. This is not what this is. This is not Syracuse basketball. And unfortunately, we have gotten off to a rough start, and we got to right the ship now. We got to put our heads down, roll up our sleeves, and continue to work and get ready for the next game. Questions?
Red, looking at the big picture, you just said rough start, got to right the ship. What needs to be done? What has to change?
Everything. We got to defend. We got to defend. Let's start with defending. No matter what defense we try to play, whether it's man or zone, we have to defend. And it's 5 guys. It's not one guy, it's 5 guys. We got to defend as a team. And the second thing is, we have to be able to get the ball to people when we need to get it to them at. But I think the biggest and the first thing is we have to defend, and we have to be tougher, on that side of the ball. We have to defend and be tougher on that side of the ball.
It seemed like early in the second half, Chaz hit a couple. You kept Chaz under control. He saw his 3-point shooting in the first half. He hit a couple early. Igor hit one. Seemed like some guys got their heads down. Did you pick up on the same thing? Is that what you were talking about?
Yes. Yes. He has some tough shots, but that's the type of player he is, and we talked about that. He's going to make some shots. We knew that coming in, but we have to continue to stay focused and locked in, and we didn't do that. We just didn't. We just, again, he made some shots, and Igor made some shots, and we got to keep playing. We got to play through that. This is number one, number 3 team in the country. At home, they were going to be tough, and we knew it was going to be tough. But I just didn't like the fight. I didn't like the fight. We didn't have any fight at all after halftime.
Coach, one bright spot, I guess, from this game was the performance of Elijah Moore. Really efficient day. What did you think about his shot selection during this game? And then also, what went into the decision to not start him to begin the second half?
Well, I thought Elijah came in and gave us a lift. He was, like you said, he was the only bright spot. He was aggressive. I thought he, made shots, took shots. I thought he got to his spots. He used our screens and got to his spots. So again, he was, he's getting better each week. But again, all of that doesn't mean anything if we don't compete on the other end of the floor. That's just the bottom line. It doesn't mean anything, and we are all included in that. That's just, again, he played well in offense, and I know everyone likes offense, and I like offense as well, but not at the cost of performing like this. We have to do a better job.
Coach, Chance Westry saw his first minutes in Orange tonight. Why was this the game that you decided, this the moment you decided to put it in the first time?
Well, Chance has been working. He's gotten himself in better shape. He probably can't go for long stretches. And obviously, once the game was, decided already, as a coach, I'm thinking about, this one is done. Let's get ready for the next one. Let's get prepared. Obviously, we got some things to do, some decisions to make. And, let's get him in there and see what he looks like. I think I tried to sub him in with like 5 minutes left. They kind of got him, but I don't think he got into about 3 minutes. But just wanted to kind of get him going forward, get him acclimated, get him into the game because, he's close enough to get there and be playing. And so, I decided to, put him in. Again, this was the game I thought he would, depend on looking at the situation, this was the game to get him in.
Coach, what did you see from Carlos tonight for him to play 37 minutes?
Who's that?
Carlos.
He was our only ball handler. He was the only guy that, that could handle the pressure of Tennessee. And if we took him out, again, that was what my fear was. I thought he, handled the pressures as well as you can. He got a couple of assists, a couple of guys early. Got a shot here and there, but again, he was important. He's going to be important, just because he's one of our primary ball handlers. We don't have a ton of ball handlers now, and that's why, being able to get Chance going is going to be vital. It's going to be important for us.
Adrian, JJ being out might not have been a big difference tonight if he had played, but going forward, what do you miss with him being out, and how long will he be out?
We don't have the timetable yet, but we do expect him back. You talk about JJ, one of the, best guards in the country, a guy that is explosive, a guy that can get to the basket, a guy that can make plays not only for himself but for others. He does a lot for us. We didn't have a lot of combinations without him on the floor. I thought the first half we did a decent job, but we knew, at some point, he's so valuable, so important for us. So, I thought the guys, we tried to manipulate some of the things that we like to do without him being there, because he's just a big part of what we do. He handles the ball for us. He gets into our offense. He scores for us, and he actually obviously he defends for us. So that was, missing JJ was big. That's big, but this is part of sports, and we gotta move forward until we can get him back.
Got time for one more. Coach, without JJ, where can you find consistency with your guard play?
Well, we'll start with, obviously Elijah's been playing well. He's a freshman, but he stepped up. He's given us consistent minutes, some consistent scoring. Obviously, Chris Bell, and try to see who else can step up and give us some valuable minutes. But I think, really trying to get the ball inside a little bit more and play with our other guys is going to be important for us.
All right, there it is. Red Autry post game. Yeah, defense was not good. Defense was not good. You heard the comments there from Red. It was Mike Waters asking the question about JJ's future health of this season. I'll just say, if it is a broken hand, and from the sounds of it, that's what it is. If it is a broken hand when he gets re-examined tomorrow, whatever's going to happen, I mean, you're looking at six plus weeks. And by then, yeah, do the math. Do the amount of games that are going to be played by then. You're going to be halfway through conference play. And, you may be so far behind the eight ball, there's no way out for it for this season. And I'll say this, it's something to be explored down the line, and you wonder. He says that JJ will be back. You look at the timetable, yes, health-wise, he should be back. I do wonder if it is 6-8 weeks, if it's 6 weeks, whatever, do you look at the season and say, and park him and medical redshirt him? Doesn't really seem to be their way. But I'd say when you get to that point, it's got to be a thought. That though is a thought for very, very far down the line. Very, very far down the line. So that is something to look out for going forward. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out for that. I'll be intrigued to see if we hear an actual amount of time, like what he can do with what kind of wrap could they put on it, like what can you do. Yeah, who knows? Who knows what his actual medical situation is. Precious little has been revealed about it, though that was quite a rap that he had going on the left hand when we saw him on the bench there today. And to the other point we've been talking about tonight, why did Jaquan Carlos play the first 37 minutes of the game? Red said it. He said he's our only ball handler. Red, when we've talked to Red, when we've talked to Griff, when we've talked to whomever, when we've asked them the question, who on this team can play point guard? The answers come back Carlos, Starling, Chance. It's not come back Kyle Cuff. It's not come back Elijah Moore. Will they have to try that out at some point going forward? Perhaps. Clearly, they have reason to think it won't work. I don't know. At some point, maybe you start trying things out, but they must see stuff in practice that they're like, yeah, that's not a good idea. So now Chance Westry's health and recovery and return and ability to play some point guard this season has gone from what was going to be an X factor of this team to what was going to be the greatest mystery of all time in Syracuse basketball to suddenly in the span of an afternoon, it has become absolutely vital here to this team floating above water going forward. So just yet another night as the world turns here in Syracuse basketball. All right, with that'll bring us to the end of our hour together today. Again, that was Red Autry, brought to us by RomanoCars.com. A full slate for you tomorrow. Will be Jordan and Mario Sacco tomorrow at noon on Orange Nation, but Orange Nation will be back tomorrow at noon. They'll be breaking down this game. It is football signing day. We'll have full coverage of everything that's going on there. Newhouse afternoon at 2. Cody will be here at 3. I got you at 4. 4:30 live football signing day press conference featuring their GM, Nate McNeil, and others from the recruiting staff. And then Mike McAllister will join us in the second hour to break down all that's gone on football signing day. But a rough one today for the Orange basketball team. Smashed on the road at Tennessee 96-70. With that, have a good night, everybody. We'll talk to you all again tomorrow.